Hello traders, welcome to Charts Insights. In this video, I'm going to be doing technical analysis on major currency pairs, indices, gold and silver plus Bitcoin. Yes, I did drop a video analysis I think last week or 2 weeks ago. But in the course of happenings in the week, I can spot some slightly changes in the market due to the ongoing war between the United States and the Iran or Iraqi country. So this has made the market not really conforming to my previous technical analysis. And one thing as a trader is that we have to be flexible. You don't want to get too emotionally attached to a particular bias. If the market is not really moving in that particular bias and you start seeing something opposite, you need to switch to that particular direction. So in this video, I'm seeing something that might likely change as regard what I've done previously. So I want to come up here to come and update you guys. So let's get started. All right, with me here with the chart of GBP USD. Previously, now I'm looking for selling opportunity. Why? Because of this double contact we have at the top, which I'm expecting that okay, if this is going to form a double top pattern, we can expect the market to drop very aggressively to this downside. But one thing that makes chart patterns valid is until when we have a break of the neckline. But from this chart, we can see that price is unable to break below the neckline. What we have rather seen here is a very strong buying pressure. And if we look back in time, we will see that this point is not just a random point. It has previously served as what some people will call a flip zone. That is a level that has acted previously as a resistance and as a support. So we have market coming there again, and also we can see that reaction is happening on that particular level. So this is telling us that like buyers are trying to push the market to continue going higher. Let me also show you one thing that is actually want me to consider looking forward to buy. If we go back to the 3-month chart, of course the 3-month chart says that the market is in a downtrend, but one thing we need to pay attention to as well is that we have this level of support that has been holding price for a very long time. In fact, if I should bring my chart, you see one level here that has held since 1985. This is a very long time. So now price has come here visiting it in previous years, in recent years rather, and now we can see that price is looking to start pushing upward. So the way it's looking now for me technically is that price is looking to attract this major resistance level. Ideally, this was my initial trade plan. At least I think if you check my previous analysis videos from about maybe a month or 2 months now, but during the course of market movement, we want to have a slight movement. But now looking like yes, we can see that price is about to continue that bias already. So I'm bullish here now because what the United States president is currently doing is like weakening the dollar. Yeah, weakening the dollar. I'm going to show you something on DXY too. This video is going to be very lengthy because I want to do an in-depth explanation on this, because I want you to really understand reason why I will be looking for a long opportunity. So if we look at this on the 3-month chart, you can see this very big double top, and then we have this neckline. this neckline was broken but not fully broken. We ought to have a retest of this point so that we can continue a further movement to the downside. But what happened here was like a false break. And whenever we have a false break, which those who trade the ICT concept called liquidity sweep, whenever we have this kind of reaction in the market, price usually moves aggressively back to where it is coming from. And that is the reason why we have been seeing all of this bullish rally to the upside. So if we now pay attention to market structure or market movement, you can see that ever since we have this false break, price pushes up to create a lower high. If trend want to continue going down, we ought to start moving downward again. But now price fails, we have higher low, and then market structures start to shift to the upside. Higher highs, higher low, higher high. So this point that we are seeing as the neckline of a double top, it is still in the direction of the market for a possible higher low that we're expecting trend to continue moving upward. So this is a possible higher low for me, and I'm expecting the market to give us another very long leg to this major resistance. So with this, I will be looking for buying opportunity. Actually, it is currently late now because all through yesterday I don't even check my chart. If I had, I would have spotted this earlier. In fact, I would have found myself in a trade opportunity. But here now, price is already approaching minor resistance, so you don't want to start trading buy unless you want to scalp to that point. If you want to swing like me, it is not the best point to start looking for entry. But then let's scale it down to look for. Let's look at the monthly chart. You can see that the monthly chart looks like a bounce. Whenever price is trending upward, it is not usually all the time. I teach this to my students that it is not all the time you expect that retracement, then impulse, retracement. There are times whereby when you have that impulse, price will consolidate and then continue moving up. So that is what is currently happening on GBP USD. This is impulse. After this retracement, this is the first retracement. We expect impulse, but now we start to consolidate, which is a rectangle pattern. So we have this. Those who trade ICT might call it power of three: accumulation, manipulation, distribution. So price has been accumulating. Manipulation might be something lower here. Then we are expecting that distribution to happen to the upside. So this is what I'm currently seeing on GBP USD. If you now go down to the weekly chart, so weekly chart here now is weekly chart is giving me like a broader head and shoulder, sorry, inverse head and shoulder. Yeah, inverse head and shoulder pattern. For those who trade chart patterns, you know I trade patterns. So this is what I'm currently seeing here for us to continue moving upward. So now what I'm currently seeing are indicating that price is about to shift to the upside. And if we look at the day chart, something happens here on the day chart. Actually, I didn't pay attention. I was still looking for sell opportunity. Hadn't been, I've changed my bias to bullish, I would have entered a trade here because this is one of my favorite entry criteria, which is to enter with a chart pattern. We can see a double bottom right here, and price has been aggressively pushing to the upside. So I'm expecting this to push here. Now, how can I join this trade, or how can you as well join this trade? This is a level that price has break. Price has fully break above this level, so we just have to wait for price to retest. So let's wait for retest to this on this level, or perhaps if price pushes up, you don't need to just force yourself in. Wait for price to retrace. Then at this point we can look for trade entry. This is going to be our first level target, and our overall target is this point we are looking at. So this is how I'm going to be positioning myself for a trade on GBP USD. So this is how I'm going to be positioning myself for a trade on GBP USD. Okay, so this is what my outlook look like on GBP USD. Let's move to the next currency pair, Euro USD. Now, Euro USD, let me just start from the monthly charts. You can see from the monthly chart, the deep blue zones are my major key levels, the light blue zones are my minor key levels. So you can see that price has been dancing between my minor key levels. Price has been ranging in between, similar to what we are seeing on GBP USD. And now price made contact with this lower minor zone, and now we have that very aggressive movement to the upside. In fact, this is already closer to this resistance. So if we also move to the weekly chart, on the weekly chart we can see, let me down to day charts. So on day charts we also have this level that price has been able to take out, which you may want to label as a break of structure, because this lows has been able to clear this high. This is a break of structure. You should not be buying now. You already know that, unless you don't understand market structure. Wait for price to pull back into this region, and then we can target this level as our first level target, and then overall level target at the stop. So with this, I'm bullish on Euro USD, bullish on GBP USD as well. So this is how I'll be looking to wait for my entry. If you want to swing, this is going to be a whole lot of patience. But if you want to scalp, you may want to scalp against the trend, because of course we are expecting some sell movement. In fact, this point may start attracting sales, because there's a supply level around this point. This particular point may start attracting sell. So there might be, or there, yes, there might, because it is not based on certainty, there might be a short sell opportunity. So day traders, scalpers, I might even look for, maybe if I can see any valid reason for me to short down to this point before taking the right direction for the market. So I'm expecting a short before we actually go long. So that is that on Euro USD. Let's look at GBP AUD USD. AUD USD, what I was initially anticipating was a trend reversal, but looks like that is not happening. Yeah, I placed some trade here, but most of my trades came back at me at break even. Yeah, and some at small losses because I have trade my stop. So that is the power of trade management actually. Else, all of this trade would have just been reversing on me to my stop loss. So what is happening here is that we have price rejecting from this my minor resistance turn to support level, and now you can see, look at this bullish level, bullish candlestick. Yes, it is yet to close, still has 16 days. This is the monthly candle, but if you look at the weekly chart as well, you can see that we have, if you understand your candle confirmation, we have a morning star candlestick. This is a morning star candlestick forming at a minor support level and closer to a major resistance. This might lead to an aggressive breakout of this level. So for AUD USD, for AUD USD, this is already closer to the resistance level. And if we look at the way trend is going, it is likely for us to break through this level. So we still have to exercise a lot of patience. We should not start buying, nor should we start selling at this point unless we see any reason to. So for this, I will be having a pause on AUD USD. So the next one, NZD USD. NZD USD, let's also take it from the monthly chart. NZD USD monthly charts. Monthly chart says bearish, but also price has made contact with this support level, and we have been having an aggressive buying push from this particular level. You can see price push up, retraces, we push up, now still forming what? Higher lows. So if you look at this point that price is forming higher lows, it is creating some sort of chart patterns called the symmetrical triangle. So symmetrical triangle forming at a level of support might trigger trend reversal. So this particular trend that is bearish, we may see price breaking above. So this here now, in fact, this is looking like the second leg of a double bottom that we may have a massive push to the upside. So NZD USD and bullish here, and from what we can see here, price has been able to break above this minor resistance. So if we now scale down to lower time frame, what we want to be looking for is a bullish structure that we can now jump in on entry. So let's scale down to day charts. So looking at the day chart, we can see that we have a bearish movement, and now the buyers are fully taken here. We have a change of character here. Price push up, retracement, another push. So just wait for retracement. The market is already far gone since we are spotting them late. So we need to wait and position ourselves for a better trading opportunity. So if you go down to the 4-hour chart, just for you to see more clarity, you can see, in fact, we have a very small inverse head and shoulder right here. One thing about price is that why I love chart patterns is that when market wants to reverses, it always shows patterns if you are able to spot them. Though I'm spotting them late now, hadn't been I spot them early, most of this trade I would have found myself in on all of this trade. So this is what these are type of entry that I love when they create chart patterns. So we have this impulse movement. You can see retracement coming down to this level. In fact, Fibonacci would have helped with an entry here as well. This is also forming like a bullish flag. Now we have an impulse, so expecting retracement back down for a bullish continuation. So NZD USD also, I'm waiting for price to retrace down. First level target is going to be this trend line, which is that upper point for the symmetric triangle. This is going to be my second level target. So if you fully break above this might just be my full exit point. So when price break above, then we can look for another trade opportunity. So that is my outlook on NZD USD. So let's look for USD card. Now USD card, yes, we are looking to buy. You can see price get to this level, and then we have a double top pattern forming. Our market is aggressively pushing down. Where we may have another pause is when price gets to this level. So let's take things from the monthly chart to see what is currently happening here. If we look at, let me just take this off. If we look at this now, price made contact with this major level, and whenever we touch that major level, price usually have this aggressive fall. So we should be expecting this level to continue going down. Reason why we are initially looking for a possible buy entry before was because we have this double bottom, but now you can see that this second bottom is not even having enough strength to even clear past the neckline, and price is retesting back to this level. I do teach my students something to note when a support level is likely to break, and that particular thing is looking very evident in our eyes. So if we have that full bearish force coming down and we come back down here, there is every tendency that this level is likely to break. So if we break through this level, we might expect more downward movement. So which is literally telling you that dollar is weak. Dollar is getting weaker, since that is the motive of the United States president. So how can we get in on this trade? So let me just bring out my minor level here. This is a minor level of resistance. You can even see now price reacted here. How do you mark this level? You can reach out to me in my DM, and then we can schedule a meeting with you then to teach you how to mark this level. So we can see that the double bottom fails to even break above the neckline, and now we can see price coming back down. So if we now scale down to the weekly chart, now weekly chart, what does the weekly chart saying? Still saying that sellers are still very more in control. This is a high, a lower high, all of this pointing to be a lower high. In fact, a possible double top right here for a bearish continuation movement. So first stop on this is going to be here, but this type of entry I would not want to enter this trade because it's somehow clumsy and not really clear. So at least one of the things I look out for is clarity. If it's not really clear, I rather ignore it. So you can see this, so but I'm expecting a bearish movement. So for now, AUD USD and USD card is not clear, so I'm not taking that. But GBP USD is clear, Euro USD is clear, NZD USD is clear. Let's look for the next thing, which is USD CHF. USD CHF also is in a massive downtrend. I was expecting a trend reversal, but that is not looking like it's going to happen yet. So we have price aggressively coming down. We have a range, break through the range, retrace, and then I'm expecting another impulse movement to the downside. So if we move down to the weekly chart, you can see this is what is currently happening is that the sellers are still very much in control. There is no trend reversal yet. So we have price, which is a lower low, lower high. We are expecting another trend continuation for a lower low. If we must take entry confirmation, that is if price can retraces back to this point, and then we can look to shorts. We can look to shorts. Yeah, if we can have a price retracement to this level, we can look to short. And even if we have that, that might give a possible head and shoulder pattern. Yeah, that might give a possible head and shoulder. In fact, I've seen something like this happen before. Yeah, something like this have happened before in a particular chart. This is a deja vu. I've seen something like this happening before. Okay, so in fact, this is also like a very long flag pattern that price has been able to break below. So wait for price to retrace. So waiting for price to retrace down. If price can retrace down now, we can expect the market to move to the downside. So if price pushes up here, we look for a better trade opportunity. So USD CHF, I'm looking for short opportunity right here. So let's look at USD JPY. So USD JPY, now you can see what is happening here. Market is already in a range. We have, let's take things from the monthly chart. So on the monthly charts, we push aggressively to the upside, and now we can see that sellers have started coming in. We can see rejection from this top, which is this my minor resistance level. If price is able to close below this, then we may see more push to the downside. So let's look to the on the weekly chart. You can see the weekly level. Candles are rejecting from these levels, but now we are still closing back to that point. If you're able to close below, then we may see price to push more aggressively to the downside. But for now, this is not really clear, so I'll be ignoring USD JPY for now. The next one here, now let's look at the gold market. Gold is about to start trending higher. Gold is about to start trending higher. This is a very long impulse movement, a retracement, and another very long impulsive movement is expected. So I'm expecting price to start pushing higher here. So I'll be looking for long opportunity. So we have this simple break and retest here. Then there is another minor level that I can mark right here. So if price is able to just give us a break and retest, we can join the buy opportunity on gold. I'll be looking at this. You can see impulse, retracement. So we are expecting that impulse, retracement, and for price to continue going higher. So I'll be looking for a buy opportunity around this region. Once we have a break and retest, not buying now, wait for break and retest before the continuation movement to the upside. So that is what we are expecting on XAU USD. Let's look at silver. On silver, similar thing, but silver looks like it has actually pushes higher than this. But also we can still spot that particular level that we may want to use for trade opportunity. So we already have a break here. Let's go to the 4-hour time frame. So just simply wait for a retest. Wait for price to retrace. In fact, let me remove this first. There is a pattern here. So if you can have a retracement of this pattern, price can still push higher and then wait for retracements, maybe this level, and then we can look for a bullish opportunity. So that is my view on silver. S&P 500, this market has moved. I did my last video on this, I told you that I missed my trade opportunity on all of these trades. NAS 100 price has pushed aggressively, especially this Japan 225. I missed my entry somewhere around this, and price is moving upward already. So let me just mark my minor levels. Let's take this off. So there's a resistance level right here. For you to identify this, just look for obvious turning points in the market. The obvious turning points, then you are good to go. So we can see we have this. If only we can have another retracement back to this point, but if no, then there is no trade opportunity here on Japan 225 and US 30. We have this is also far gone. Bitcoin, now Bitcoin is about breaking above, and I'm expecting the bullish movement to get started now. So on the day chart, weekly chart, price is already forming a double bottom chart pattern. You can see double bottom chart pattern, and we are about to break above the neckline, which is also breaking above this flag. Remember that we have this upward channel, so we might be looking for a long opportunity on Bitcoin now. This might be the beginning of a bull run, and we can see Bitcoin flying upward. So this is my new bias on most of these pairs. In the course of the week too, we can see how this is going to happen. If there's going to be any changes in bias, I will also still come up here and update you guys. So if you have learned something new in this video and you enjoy this type of content, make sure that you like, comment, and follow this page if you haven't done so. And I'm going to see you in my next video. Peace.